Oh, hi. Welcome to the Death Battle Cast.
You almost did an accent there. You were like right on the edge of it.
Oh, hi. Welcome. Welcome out to the Death Battle Cast. I don't know what accent this is. I'm just making noises with my mouth. I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz.
Oh, wow. That's a voice. Hi, I'm Sam.
Hi, I'm Luis.
I'm Chad of Boomstick.
You know, you guys used to say what you did on the show.
Sam rarely ever did in
Never.
his defense.
That's true. That's true. And totally fair. Hey, we just released a Death Battle, guys.
Yeah, we did.
Black Canary versus Sindel, Battle of the Scream Queens. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of screaming. First episode we actually animated for this year, actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
we
because you guys
technically
animated
started
this one before you animated Miles Static.
Yes, Mouse
And
Static
then-
required a lot of sprite work, so we gave like Jerky a lot of time span so he can get those sprites really well done. While we worked on Black and Sindel, which require a lot of minuscule like changes here and there for the sprites to work, and we kind of just did that ourselves instead of like relying on Jerky for those.
Yeah.
And Miles Static is also kind of where you guys developed the puppet style.
Yeah.
Whereas
This is more of our like traditional way of like animating a sprite fight, basically. So yeah.
I cannot unsee Felicia's sprite from
if you play
Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers
When
a
you
lot, or
said
Marvel
like
MVC too.
it was, we did talk about this in commentary, but every time I saw Sindel, I'm like, why does that model look so familiar? And I just kept focusing on the hair, and then you're like, that's definitely not Felicia. I'm like, that's what it is.
Yeah, the hair is from
Yeah.
Sindel's sprite is kind of a combination of a bunch of. If you don't know how sprite art like edits work, it usually involves combining different elements of other sprites,
Making a
recoloring
Frankenstein of this
Yeah.
sprite.
It's a Frankenstein kind of
That's
thing.
all I see now.
The Black Canary one is the same deal.
Yeah.
Both of them, I believe, stem from Mugen artists who were credited in the episode.
Yeah. Gotta say though, it still she still had the whiskers when we were using those sprites, so we had to go to every single hair sprite and remove those whiskers and add the little line.
But yeah, we had to edit the hair
it
quite
was
a
like,
bit.
It was a
That's
process.
Did you have any screenshots? I would love to see a screenshot of like Sindel, but with the whiskers.
That didn't last long, really.
No.
It lasted a day, and then we were like, yeah, we need to like change this.
Yeah.
No offense to the artist who made that. It was really good. Thank you.
I mean, we ended up using it as a
for
base,
sure.
so it was obviously pretty great. And
Yeah,
I know
awesome.
there's plenty of people who are like, why didn't you use the classic Sindel sprites from
Like Torian.
Because
Yeah.
they're weird.
Yeah, you sit down for an entire day and work with those sprites, and then come back to me and say, hey, use those sprites, because it's hell. It's absolutely hell.
The first Death Battle you ever animated, maybe the second one, was
the first one, yeah.
Sonya versus
Sonya
Cammy, right?
Yeah.
Did we use? I can't remember. Did
we
use
did
classic
use
ones?
we did use, and like that was a great way to start Death Battle, because I was like, these sprites are god awful and I need to make it work.
Yep.
I remember
Yep.
you did some cool stuff with it, though. That was a fun fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like when you're like making Death Battles, or like on a constant basis, you go back to your first one and you go like, maybe I could have made that a little bit like different, but that's every artist.
Well,
Yeah.
you just going down a little bit of history lane here, but when
History
when,
lane.
when you were
It's just off the path of memory lane.
yeah, it's just off the path of the memory lane and history
lane.
drive.
Yeah, there it is.
Good old history. lane.
That was you weren't really doing a lot of fight animations at the time.
No,
right?
no.
Like, that was kind of a new thing for you. You had done it before, but it was kind of new.
Yeah,
You did some Luigi thing, right?
yeah, I did animation for my channel. There was it was Super Mario Meteor Maker.
Yeah.
It was an animation where like Mario and Luigi were fighting basically for the spotlight in the game or whatever. And that was my first test of me being like, hey, let me find out if I can actually do this thing. Because like I seen many artists like doing like sprite animations, basically a bunch of people doing like fight animations.
Sprite
like,
fights have been popular on Newgrounds for years.
Right.
and years.
Parodies, on the other hand, is what I used to do, but like that kind of like fell off out of like most of YouTube, whatever. But I decided like, well, let me try this. Maybe I can do something with it like in the future, whatever. And I did that, and just like I don't know, like a month or 2 months later, I got contacted by you guys.
So what's really funny is be so glad that you did that animation, because what happened was we were looking for more animators. And Ben and I have been talking a bunch, and Craig was talking with us as well. And Craig randomly threw out, he just goes, "Oh, what about jets?" Because that's what Luis went by on our site forever. He'd been a fan forever. He did these animations with Screwy the Monkey, which is the whole thing we don't need to go into.
You still haven't made that third one, right?
I have the file. I just don't feel like releasing it.
Like, I've never seen it.
Yeah, you better show us.
Was it actually finished?
No,
Okay,
but it's
okay.
There's
a work in
there's a
progress.
whole scene where like Screwy the Monkey is like going towards the office, and he's like the Lion King like parody, where it's like going back to the kingdom, and you can just see like Screwy like running in like slow motion.
I can't wait to see that. You're gonna.
Most
have
of
to
you guys
show
probably
me.
have no idea what we're talking
No,
about.
it's a really old Screw Attack thing. We made a fake mascot. Well, it's sort of called Screwy the Monkey. Anyway,
my
Different
favorite
times.
character.
yes. So, but anyway, so Craig he was like, "Oh, what about Jets?" And we were like, "Oh, well, Jets is great, but like, I don't know if he does fight animation." You know, Ben and I talked about that, and so then we went and we dug up your channel, and recently you had just posted this thing where you're having them fight, and then I remember Ben going, "Oh, well, I mean, we can give him a shot. Maybe it looks like he could maybe do some of this stuff."
Oh my god! When
And-
I got that email, I was like, I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should actually go in and do the audition, because like this is the first time I did a actual fight, and I was like, and like I immediately go from making a parody to like making a death battle. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, so we tested him out with DBX. Was Ronald McDonald, Colonel Sanders your first
Ronald
one?
McDonald
Yeah.
versus Colonel
Dude,
Sanders
it
was
is
my first one.
So fucking good.
Yep.
Like I remember
It's
like,
still one
How
of my
much
favorites.
extra
Absolutely.
time did you spend on that one?
Way too much.
Yeah,
time.
yeah. 'Cause, like, it was
For
polished
what
up
it
real
is,
good. Yeah.
For the fight that it is, I spent way too much time on that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like-
dude, that came in and we were just like, holy shit! Like this is awesome, and that worked out really good.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history
It's
drive.
memory.
So
Memory.
let's
History
pull off of
drive.
history drive onto Q&A court. And just hang out there spinning in circles for a while
We'll
as
give-
we
we'll
go
give
through the
you that one.
questions. Because okay, real quick, if you have not seen Black Canary versus Sindel, we will be talking about the result of it and answering some of the questions that we have seen in the comments that you guys have sent us on Twitter using #DeathBattleCast. We got quite a few, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Somebody gonna read those?
Yeah, I got him.
Cool.
Question 1. Why didn't Sindel just absorb Dinah's soul for an easy win?
Oh shit. She could have just done that. I
Oh.
guess we were wrong. Oops. No. So the soul eating thing is something she does in Mortal Kombat 9, or she tries to. It sort of fails because Nightwolf is just like, no thanks, and blows both of them up. But what it's the soul sucking thing in Mortal Kombat tends to be like you have to win, you have to beat them up first.
They're like
And then you take
Pokemon. Souls are like Pokemon. Like, you need to fucking slap them around a little bit first. Like,
Yep, and that's basically it. Like,
Yeah.
it's certainly a weapon she could use, but it's not going to be something that's going to win the fight by itself, basically.
yeah. All right, number 2. Why didn't Black Canary fight Black Bolt? We want to see Marvel finally defeat a DC character.
Finally, it's never happened.
It's
Never
never
happened
happened.
before.
DC is clearly undefeated in Death Battle, even though they've lost like half the fights they've been in.
I think
Maybe
they're-
not
I think
half.
they're-
Oh, no,
I
they're
think
half.
they're 3 up right now
Yeah.
from the split. There's a great like community member. His name's escaping me right now, but he always has like the data breakdowns of like
Yeah, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
He would know, but yeah, I think DC's up 3 or 4 right now. Something like that.
Overall,
Yeah,
probably,
overall.
yeah. DC usually is up overall because they've got a lot of really powerful characters.
We don't.
Black Bolt, though, I mean, yeah, that's exactly why we didn't do it, is because it would clearly just be a Marvel win. There's no
Yeah.
debate there. Black Canary
Yeah.
can break, walls and glass and blow up a person's head. Black Bolt can blow up a planet. It's a little different, guys. Black Bolt's an awesome character. He's really fascinating to me because he literally can't talk without just destroying things. And
Does
I
he
love
at least
that.
know sign language? Like, you gotta figure he's
yeah,
just
I mean,
like,
he can
yeah.
communicate.
Imagine the mental fortitude, because like clearly you've got to slip at some point. Like at some
What
point,
about
it's just
fucking
like, hey, Black Belt.
sneezing?
You know, hey Black Belt.
Huh?
Yeah. Oh!
Yeah.
Well, like the epic scenes with Black
The
Belt are
worst
when
part
he
is, like-
whispers
the
and like
worst part is,
shit
like,
happens.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. It goes into that chain where you just oh shit. No.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious what a good matchup for Black Bolt would be, because I'm not really sure. He's just so ungodly powerful compared to other characters with his same power set. So I don't know. That I feel like that could be a good community death battle if you guys have any ideas. Anyway, next question.
You like listing off all these martial arts for fighters, but you never talk about ground fighting, which is the way usually fights are won in real life. Why don't you ever give the fighters ground fighting?
I saw a question about this, and I thought,
Like, I believe they're referring to like grappling and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that, like actual fighting
It's-
style shit where you mainly are on the ground.
the idea is that most fights in real life do end up on the ground with somebody trying to strangle the other, basically,
Mhm.
or pin them.
Mhm.
So, for one thing, we don't give martial arts, like, we're not. Sometimes in the past, we have analyzed how a character fights and tried to figure out what they are using. Generally speaking, we don't specify a martial art unless it's specified in the actual content, in the actual story that they're in, or maybe a data book or something like that. Ground fighting is never really mentioned ever, especially with characters that we tend to use, because we use a lot of like high flying, flashy characters. And when you look at shonen or comic books, most of those fights don't end up on the ground, because that's a little
Yeah.
harder to see.
Could you imagine if Goku and Frieza were just like just like
Grappling?
literally
Yeah.
rolling around on the ground together? Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't look nearly as epic.
Yeah, we give
play
them
pussies.
like we don't give them anything. They have things. It's like we don't attribute them skills. It's not. Yeah, it's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's like we stick to it despite what you might think at times. Like the Karate Kid, I believe we would just say he knows Taekwondo, not fucking karate. Like because in the movie that's what they're doing. Like it's sometimes it seems a little strange.
Kung Fu, right?
Yeah, probably. I
That's
don't know. The
true.
Kung Fu Kid. Who cares about him?
Before we get to that, let me tell you about one of our sponsors, Bespoke Post, and their Box of Awesome. This winter, start a new routine to upgrade your everyday life with a monthly Box of Awesome from Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post sends guys only the best stuff every month. So whether you're looking to commemorate an occasion with a champagne saber, heck yeah, or toast perfectly aged winter cocktails, Box of Awesome has you covered. From style and grooming goods to barware, cooking tools, and outdoor gear, Box of Awesome has carefully built collections for every part of your life. They got a ton of stuff. Just check out their website. There's all sorts of options for everyday life, or just like cool little collectibles and things that you might want and you never really realize that you want until you literally see it on the website. I just recently got a nice, pretty blue Damascus knife from them, like a pocket knife, and it's really neat. So to get started, you can take the quiz at boxofawesome.com, and your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. Quiz sounds intimidating. It's not hard at all. It's just a couple quick questions, and then they show you what options there are. Of course, you can always check out the rest of the website to see all their options. So the quiz is just kind of an optional thing to help you pick out exactly what you want. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. Each box only costs about $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside. So, get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code BATTLECAST at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code BATTLECAST for 20% off your first box. All right, back to the show.
Dinah's ear membrane don't protect her. Dinah's ear membranes don't protect her, or don't protect the rest of her body. Couldn't Sindel's scream still rip her to shreds?
Yeah, I saw a couple of people mentioning this. Sure, of course it could. So could Dinah's, because she blew up Amazo's head. She could definitely blow up Sindel's head or body. So they both are kill moves. It tends to be how this works with death battles. Each character has plenty of ways to kill each other, and especially when it comes down to like they have similar ways to win, then it's really important for us to determine other advantages that each of those ways have to see which one is more effective. And so Black Canary's, that's why we compared the decibels of Black Canary's Canary Cry versus Sindel's Banshee Scream. Which one would be more likely to actually deal effective damage first, essentially, or overpower the other.
Okay. So, question 5.
This is
Wait,
for you, Chad.
Oh yeah.
where did Boomstick get the skulls of Sub-Zero and Cable from?
Cabal.
Cabal. Sub-Zero.
And Cable.
I don't know, man. It's long. And Cable from.
Bring out
or
another
Cabal.
Marvel.
Have you guys not?
Sub-Zero won his first death battle years ago, and Cabal hasn't been in one at all.
Where did Boomstick get those skulls?
Yeah, we're.
Hammer.
Yeah,
face.
Luis. Why did we animate pulling out those skulls?
Hey, don't put it on me. You're homesick.
My thought is we don't actually know what happens to Death Battle
Actually,
winners after they win.
Also,
Yeah.
it wasn't the skulls of them. It's just a hobby of his. He likes to take skulls and dress them up as characters. It's like
Skull
taxidermy.
cosplay.
Yeah.
Skull play. That sounds
No,
worse.
skull play sounds
Let's
dirty.
No.
Let's not skull play.
Skull
Let's-
cosplay.
Yeah, we'll end it
But
there.
that's,
Are they
it's
real
been-
skulls or are they like...
Oh, real skulls.
Okay.
Real skulls.
100%.
You said Sindel was stronger than Dinah and gave Dinah no defense against such power. Why didn't Sindel just rip her head off the second she got close? Power gaps like that always win death battle. So doesn't this mean you screwed up?
Great. Thanks for that.
What a good question. What a good question.
Power gaps like that don't always win Death Battle. I mean, I feel like if you don't watch every single episode, it's possible that you're only watching episodes where the strength difference is a major factor, because it can be. Generally speaking, we look at strength, defense, and speed as like three big. It's like a trifecta of main factors into a fight, not necessarily including other ones, because obviously every character we include has their own power sets. Like the screams, Banshee Cry or the Canary Cry and Banshee Scream have their own powers and stuff to keep in mind here. But at the very basic level, strength, speed, endurance, or durability. And sometimes speed is going to trump strength. In fact, I feel like that we used to be known a lot more for our episodes where speed would trump strength, because that seemed to be pretty common back in the day.
I feel like that happened in Shredder Silver Samurai, but I could be wrong.
Maybe. I mean, there's tons of them. I honestly can't remember a lot off the top of my head, because we have, I'm sure,
Yeah.
a good chunk.
Over
think-
100
strength.
episodes. So
But we
yeah.
did give a defense, technically, in the episode. We mentioned, I could understand how somebody might have missed it, but we did mention how Black Canary could fight people like Mammoth, Giganta, and kind of Wonder Woman. So that's why we mentioned that like the strength difference isn't necessarily as big of a deal compared to the speed difference, because Black Canary's speed is so much more than Sindel's. And because it didn't really feel like super necessary to get into too much detail with the strength difference, we didn't have a calc outside of what we already provided.
But it was important to
just
that
wasn't-
one person,
Yeah.
and there you go.
But that's basically it.
So-
And of course, we also look at possibilities of who would win. Like, it's impossible to determine what would happen in a fight as fact. These are fictional characters.
Right.
Like, what we present is not necessarily how it would go 100% of the time. And we mentioned that in some episodes. It's kind of a, like,
Most likely.
mostly, yeah, Sindel would lose 60% of the time kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's generally it.
Next up, why didn't you include Black Canary's Five Heavens Palm?
So Black Canary in the recent comics has had a weird like demon story where she's like using magic punching to kill demons.
Sweet.
We
That'll
didn't really.
happen. Sometimes you have to go to hell. Like Batman and Wonder Woman did that for like a couple years too.
we kind of include some elements of that in the text, but we didn't go into it too much because that's technically Dinah Drake. Dinah Laurel Lance got removed from canon when New 52 happened, and now her mom is dating Green Arrow instead of her. It's kind of weird
Bummer.
when you think about it.
Yeah.
It is.
Not if you're Green Arrow, I guess.
What did you use the non-canon film Mortal Kombat Armageddon to measure the power of Sindel's Banshee Scream? Come on, her screen ripped flesh off bone. That's way better. There's a calculation on that.
So we did use the that stupid movie's Scream to kind of determine how powerful her Banshee Scream could be. Mainly because there's not a whole lot of like options for Sindel to measure. Her scream ripping off skin that's not how sound works.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real way to calculate that. Like, yeah, she screamed at a person and they melted. Like, how do you do that? That's not how it works. There's no like scientific
Well,
follow through for that. Like, they're kind
if
of
they
is for
vibrated
explosion.
enough to make the friction, but they would catch on fire before they melted. So that doesn't really make sense.
I guess I did look into this. There's just no way to really like look into the exact specifics of it. I have to assume that what's happening when she rips off the skin with her scream has something to do with magic, because she's got a magic scream, so it does things a little differently. So we just essentially used the most powerful thing we could find, especially because she's losing. I didn't necessarily want us to calculate something that is weaker than what we've seen in something else, and then people say, well, what about Armageddon?
Yeah.
This feat was clearly better. So of course we're going to try to include the most powerful thing we can reasonably include. And it's not unreasonable to think that scream in Armageddon is any different in terms of power level compared to the games, because there are characters, including Sindel, they do things that are physically more powerful than that. So why can't her scream be as powerful as they've been physical? That was I kind of rambled a little bit there, but I think I got the point across.
Number 9. Black Canary wins a death battle in the same week as Birds of Prey, the movie, is released.
Oh boy.
That's not a coincidence. That's obviously meant to promote Birds of Prey. Doesn't that prove that you're all biased and the match is rigged? Yeah,
God, I love these ones.
I wish we got a fat fucking check for this one. That would be great,
No
but
one
sadly
gives
no.
a shit. Like, the only way, if we're getting paid,
Well,
you bet your ass there would have been hey, this episode is brought to you by Birds of Prey. You should go check it out in theaters now. No, it's actually the opposite.
It's
We
illegal
can-
to not do that.
Yeah.
Like, we
We-
literally can't hide a promotion.
Right. Also, it's the opposite. We capitalize on shit that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like, when we're planning like a death battle
Yeah.
season, we look and we're like, hey, what's going on right now? What characters are becoming relevant? It's especially important for like I'm gonna say lesser known characters, and that's like in a really general sense, right? Like
Not Goku, Superman, and
right,
Thor.
like,
You know?
it's
Yeah.
great because it people
They
be
don't
searching
have
for it.
like their own movie series. That's what we mean.
Right, so it's better for the show, and it's also better for like to be able to showcase characters that you're less, I guess, people are less familiar with, because now they're in something that's more popular and relevant to like refresh their mind.
Yes. There are two things that could be happening whenever we announce a character and it seems like, this seems weirdly coincidental that it's happening around the same time as something else happening with that character. One is us deciding to release a death battle around the same time as a character is relevant, especially with characters like Black Canary, which wouldn't necessarily be... Black Canary is a popular character among comic book fans and people who watch the old Justice League cartoon.
Right.
But outside of those people, she's not that well known.
Right.
So
Like I could go up to like my parents and be like, "Hey, do you know Black Canary?" They're like, "No." And I'd be like, "Do you know Batman?" They're like, "Hell yeah!" You know, so it's like,
Sure.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it does make the most sense for us to release in order for this episode to even happen, really, we have to convince producers. You know, when we're pitching this episode way
Right.
back when, that it would be it would be worth it to release it around at all, and releasing it around the same time as something else helps. Give us an argument that yes, it should do well. It should be able to get 2 million views or so.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Especially when those characters are not well known. So,
Yeah, exactly. So that is the search engine optimization method. Where,
SEO.
yeah, where we're just taking advantage of the general buzz around a character. The other thing that might happen is the death battle curse,
Blessing.
which is
It's
happening.
not a curse.
Which is happening right now. I knew the Ninja Turtles versus Power Rangers comic was coming out at some point this year.
Yep.
I did not know that we would be announcing Leonardo versus Jason at the same time they are fighting each other in the comic books right now.
Oh, great.
Apparently that's happening.
That's gonna fuck with. Oh, great. Cool.
It's fine.
No, it's gonna be
It's
fine.
That's
That's true. Because there's been so many times like where we do the research, and even if like characters have like fought before, we're like, that's bullshit. That's not the fucking Amalgam comics are a great example of that.
Yeah, God. Storm beats Wonder Woman in one of them, which is just like, that's not happening. Like, it's really stupid.
Another good example is
And-
RoboCop versus Terminator. They are
Oh, right.
technically comics of RoboCop just destroying them all. And we were like, that might not
Yeah.
be how it goes. Like that's a story. We are looking at it in terms of a logical, mathematical sense, so it could
Right.
be different. And last thing I want to point out is that even when we are doing the search engine optimization, capitalization thing or whatever, that's not necessarily influencing who wins.
Oh, of course not.
No, it has nothing to do with it.
Sponsorships don't even get to influence who wins. We've lost. If we are ever promoted or promoting a piece of content, we have lost
We pretty
possible
much
promotions because
I can't.
We've tried so many times to be like, hey, you want, and it always falls through because there's like, well, we don't want them to die, and we're like, what the fuck?
Oh,
did you
and
do to the show?
they can't be shown killing someone else. I can't tell you how much
Oh my
money
God.
we have just left on the table because we refuse to compromise the integrity of the show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
There's-
important, and we
There's
stuck to
very
that
few
for a good
brands
reason.
that it would actually work with.
Mhm.
And it's just so frustrating when because it's the first fucking thing we say to a brand when it's like, hey, you have no influence. Like we have full creative control. We will determine who wins. And it's so, initially like they just look at the views and they're like, I mean, yeah, cool, yeah, whatever, let's do it, yeah. And then they're like, we get far enough along in talks where someone who's like a guardian of the brand of this character goes, wait, what the fuck? Like, and it's like, no, they can't do blank, blank, blank. And we're like, cool, see you later.
They're
Thanks
killing
for
what?
Thanks for wasting.
That's
our
that's
time.
why we like sponsors like Quip and Bespoke, where it's just like they're like, okay, yeah, do they have teeth and like cool stuff? Yeah, we're good then. Yeah, we're good. They got no investment in the fight at all. They're like, yeah, we're pretty sure they mainly have teeth and like stuff. Yeah, cool. All right. And then last one, next time is Leo versus Jason.
Woo!
Won't it just be a stomp because Jason's Tyrannosaurus Zord? Are you including Leo's dragon transformation from the Ninja Tribunal arc?
There's some weird shit in both Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
So just to be perfectly clear, the Zords are not jumping in and just crushing Leonardo. to death
That would
in
be a
this fight.
literal stump. Like,
Yeah, very much.
This is not quite the literal stop. I mean,
When Leo's like, what the fuck is that?
I will be honest. There was definitely a part of me that thought like it might be cool to have the Zord show up and then we do the crazy dragon thing. Because in one season of the 2003 cartoon, Leo and his brothers get the power to transform into dragons to fight the original Shredder, who's possessed by a demon. It's a thing. So
Are they like turtle dragons though?
no, they're dragons, but they're like
Okay.
they got like armor
Samurai
designs.
armor
Wait, are
stuff
they
on
like
'em? Okay.
are they like dragon size or are they like
Yeah, they're dragon sized.
Okay.
They're dragons.
Okay,
They
when you
just
say
become
dragon size,
dragons.
the fantasy nerd in me is like, that's not one size,
Yeah,
sir.
we got it.
There's a large scale in
Well, I assume
dragons.
you
I
guys-
see
I-
like Tiamat in fucking Mushu. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like,
we got Deathwing up here.
yeah.
They are not
And the-
just
yeah.
transforming into dragons that are the same size as
Yeah.
their turtle selves. They're becoming giant.
Yeah.
Got it.
There was definitely part of me that thought that might be fun. We'll have a giant Tyrannosaurus Zord versus a dragon, and then I thought nobody really wants. Like some people want to see that, but like that's
It's
getting
fucking
kind of
stupid.
away
No,
from what
it's
this,
dumb.
The point
this
of the
fight
fight
is.
Yeah.
I
Um,
think people will be like, wait, is the fight Leonardo or is it like dragon versus like big robots? Like,
yeah.
right.
At a certain point, people would just like sit back and go, "This is not what I signed up for,"
Yeah.
which is fine in some
Yeah.
cases. But given the style we are going for this fight and like the idea behind the fight itself, especially given like
Who's the
this-
better leader
this
of
is
teens?
the original. This is the original Red Ranger versus the original Ninja Turtle. I guess the only blue Ninja Turtle, unless you count Venus.
She's teal.
And
She's light
this
blue.
is very much jumping onto the playground argument that kind of one of the few that kind of spawned this idea of death battle versus matches in the first place, which is when Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers were really big in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Which one do you watch?
Fucking
are you a
both.
Ninja Turtle kid or are you a Power Ranger kid? You had to be
I
one or
was-
the other in some place.
Not me. I remember that too. But I was like, fuck that. Both. They're great.
Yeah, me too. But it depended which school playground you were at.
Yeah, dude. I still like when we did Shredder. Like it just fucking ruined it. Like I in my mind was like, the TMNT show is great. Like it's such a big part of my childhood. And like I love it. And God, that show sucks. Like I was like,
It sucks. It's
Adult.
just-
It's bad.
It's the 80s.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Adult me watching it was like, oh fuck, that's ruined.
I mean, it sucks in the same way that the Transformers cartoon from back in the day sucks, and that it's kind of a mess.
Well, like all of them.
'Cause it was
He-Man
just to
is
sell
kind of
toys.
shit. Like
He-Man's
most of
just
them.
fun. Like,
He-Man's the only one that
Same
like
kind of thing.
feels kind of right because it is fucking stupid. Like the TMNT you want to take seriously. With He-Man you can't. Like
Do you?
Yeah.
You
I mean-
want to take You want to take a show where 4
well,
turtles
yeah, no,
get
but
dumped
I'm
in
saying
green ooze and transform
your-
into people and learn ninjutsu from a rat?
your
and eat
child
pizza.
your child brain does.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
And then you grow up and you
Sort
watch
of.
it and you're like, I don't know, it doesn't fit. But He-Man was always dumb. It's a man running around in a leotard. Like, it's hard to take
it's
seriously.
a cordite battle harness. Thank you.
Okay, cool, bud.
That's the top part.
Anyways, before we move on, we do have a little cool Leo versus Jason thing. We got some awesome fan art. If you could pull that up.
Yes, let's go ahead and bring that
Oh,
up.
that's so
Carbonate
cool.
James.
This is really sweet. Yeah,
This is
Carbonate James
awesome.
did that.
I retweeted this because
Yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool.
Man, and he put this together pretty quick too.
Before I tapped on it, because I got tagged in that tweet. Before I tapped on it, I thought the Zord was eating his arm
wait, keep it
at
up.
first.
Thank you.
But then when I saw it bigger, I'm like, oh, got it. It's just behind him and it's super sick, and he's like charging this badass punch. But I like when it.
it's the power punch.
It is.
That's in our fight.
Yep.
He's gonna use that against Leo. Who
But
knows
yeah,
what's
when it
gonna
was
happen.
small,
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? Why is the Zord biting his arm? But no, it's sick. It's
Oh
awesome.
man,
I love that Leo pose too.
We can't get into too much discussion of the fight just yet. We'll definitely talk about it next week and the week after that.
Right.
But
Yeah, next week we'll have a sneak peek of
we're
it for
going
you.
for a
Yeah.
pretty cool like kind of retro arcade style with this one.
Oh, the
Yeah.
music came in so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like it is. I don't know if you've heard it
I
yet.
haven't heard it
It is. Oh, you gotta go. We'll
I-
go listen to it after this.
I had it
It's-
on repeat
It's fucking
for-
great.
yeah.
Yeah,
a
like
couple
it's,
hours.
it's wildly good.
Hell yeah.
We are really embracing the 80s 90s vibe. that
Great.
this is
Basically,
yeah.
going
Do you
for.
have a very garbled cowabunga?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Get ready. Get
Yeah,
ready.
yeah. Anyways, let's go. What's going on now? It's that time for that.
Oh, I guess we're moving on. What's going on?
Well, that's what the rundown said. But before that, let me tell you about Quip toothbrushes. Now, you might know these because I've been talking about it a long time. I love them. They are a great toothbrush. And if you don't, though, well, Quip is the maker of the Quip toothbrush. It's an electric toothbrush that's just better than the rest. It's a cool, sleek guy that looks like a Star Trek prop, and it goes on your mirror. And why is it great? Because it keeps your teeth healthy and clean, and it helps you form great habits like brushing your teeth for an appropriate amount of time by having an internal timer in it. It has supersonic vibrations that help keep your teeth extra clean and, you know, stay nice to your sensitive gums if you have them like me. And it's just all around a great thing. Plus, they have other doodads nowadays, like a floss dispenser that's really nifty. And all these products, like, they have cases so they keep clean, so you can throw them in your travel bag and take them on the go. I mean, they're just awesome. I've had mine for literally, like, well over a year now, and I use it every day. It's awesome. I love it. So, you might be asking, how can you get some Quip for yourself? Let me tell you. You go to getquip.com/cast right now, and you'll get your first refill pack for free. That's getquip.com/cast. GETQUIP.com/cast. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of, like, what is this, 30,000 dental professionals and counting? Yeah, like, I'm just a guy, but they have doctorates, and they're telling you it's a good idea. So maybe listen to the 30,000 people with doctorates. Okay, bye.
Sam has hijacked the show. What are we doing now, Sam?
I'm keeping us on time. We're talking about the fucking Oscars. It says it right there. It's Oscar talk. None of us actually, I guess y'all didn't really mess with it very much.
Nope.
No. You know
Yeah.
how
Great segment.
Well, no, I got some shit to talk about because, like, my big thing with it is I was upset going into it because the Joker got a lot. Like, he was the most nominated film, which, whatever. If you've seen the Joker, I don't think it's like a bad film or anything. I think it's like maybe not the message we need right now. But it's just my main point is it's annoying that they took this very seriously and didn't give a shit about Logan. Like, Logan is, I think, by all people's
All right.
degree, a better movie. Like, Logan is a very, very fucking good,
Specifically compared to Joker?
super, compared
Yeah.
to Joker. Like, and they're kind of these, like, it's not like a superhero ensemble or anything like that, or like a Hollywood blockbuster.
Right,
It's
right.
like, no, this is like an actual, like, hero movie. And, like, Logan's just straight up, I don't know, they just passed it over, and that was kind of one of the things that pissed me off about Joker. It's like, it just gets 7 nominations?
Got a lot. I can
It only
kind
won
of
2.
understand looking at Logan as, I I don't exactly know how to describe this, but it is part of the series. It is not necessarily a standalone thing. I think it works as a standalone thing, absolutely, but it definitely adds to it if you have seen the previous X-Men movies. It kind of plays off of those, especially with the Xavier character. So I can see people looking at it and thinking like, it's just another sequel. It's a much better sequel than some of them, but it's another sequel in a line of blockbusters. I can see that thought process, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't think the Oscars is something that
You could have watched.
people should be taken too seriously anyway.
Yeah.
Frankly, I do not like their voting system.
I mean,
I think it
Claus
is
did
completely
lost.
broken.
It's just saying.
Claus?
Yeah, you want a Claus to win.
Yeah, of
I think that most of the options were better than Toy Story 4.
Toy Story
Yeah.
4 is fine.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just-
it's not a bad movie. It's
It is-
just
it's-
Claus is such a like technical like.
I think the problem with that is like, and you know, I can only make assumptions, but most of the people there in the Academy don't necessarily care about animated films.
Yeah.
Or they start looking at them. It's like, well, what's the most technically advanced animation? And out of those films, it almost certainly is Toy Story 4. But it's about animated movie, not like the actual.
It actually has to do
Yeah.
with the voting process. The voting process for Oscars, for the Academy Awards, is I'm trying to remember what the term for it is, but it's this really complicated system where they do not take what is voted for the most. It's not necessarily the highest number. It doesn't depend on whoever votes, whichever one gets the most number one votes, because everybody who's voting is listing them all out in terms of which one is number one to them and which one is the worst one to them.
Right.
And then they take all of those numbers and combine them to figure out which one got the most, I guess, points overall, just to summarize it.
Yeah,
very
so it's like
bluntly.
first place gets 4 points, second place gets 3 points.
So if
third place
Claus
2
gets the
points,
most
fourth gets 1
first place votes, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win overall.
because it got a whole bunch of 2s
If
and 3s.
Toy
and
Story
stuff,
gets
like
all
that.
the number 2s, then it wins.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm being very simple with it. It's a very complicated process that
But
doesn't
that
make a lot
makes
of
a little
sense to me.
sense.
Well, I was blown away when Spider-Verse won. Like, not that it shouldn't have. It's fucking
Yeah.
incredible, and like I loved it. But it was going up against Isle of Dogs,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed Isle of Dogs as well. But when you look at those two on paper, and you're like, which do you think is going to be an Academy picked fucking movie? Like, I had already like resigned myself that Isle of Dogs was going to win, because also like, fuck, that must have taken so much time to make that movie.
I think that in part, Spider-Man winning was a lot due to, I think they had a little bit of a campaign around it of being like, look how well we did this. Like they made an effort of pointing out like just how good some parts of the screenplay were about like Miles in that shot, like where he's like falling but rising, like, you know, and they were like, we're smart. Look, we did this good. And everyone's like, they are smart. They didn't do that good. And it's like, it's true, but I think they campaigned their quality in a smart way.
Yeah.
That's the other reason why I don't take the Oscars too seriously, is because there's a lot of shadow campaigns going on behind the scenes where they're reaching out to these people who are voting and trying to expose other films for not being as good as theirs. Like it's a look into it. It's really messed up how all of this comes together. Sometimes things work out. Like
I could be
Parasite
wrong.
winning is great.
Yeah.
I think Parasite absolutely deserves it.
Oh, that was surprising too, and I was really happy with it. I still need to watch it. But
Parasite's
I
very
was
good.
hoping it would win, because every single person that I've talked to since that movie came out has been like, "Have you seen Parasite? It's like the best movie to come out." in,
If
like,
you
the whole
fuck
year.
with Bong Joon-ho films, like, it's still in that vibe, but it's just very good. Like, it's one of those movies. It's kind of like, do you remember The Game with Martin Sheen, I think it is? Or no, it's the other guy. The Game. It's
yeah,
where it's like a weird thriller.
yeah,
It's got
where
game
like the special
vibes.
ops
It's-
team is on the island or something.
No.
That's a good
It's
one.
about this very, very rich guy who's bored. He's too rich and he's bored with life, and so he hires these people that are like going to set up a game in his life, but he
Oh,
never
yes.
knows what is the game and what
I remember
isn't.
that.
And it's like is literally
Oh, that's
nothing.
with,
It's nothing like that movie, but it
with
has
the dude
the
who
same.
said the reason he got HPV was because he ate out so many women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
that
did too
guy.
much kind of like it's what a fucking champ. But yeah, it's nothing like that movie, but it has that same weird thrill like kind of feel in it where you're like, wait, what's happening right now? Is this? I don't know. Like it's got a lot of those vibes.
I'm
to it.
gonna
It's
watch
really,
it.
It's really good.
The thing I didn't want to talk about, because this got me thinking. It's like, oh, we'll see how much longer the Academy Awards are around. I mean, I guess they probably will, but like they've had a bunch of bumps in the roads recently, and like this year they were trying to re-show that like, don't worry, like we can adapt and like no host and
Yeah, it's mostly the presentation and audience reaction that has been kind of up and down for the past few years.
It did
Academy
went
Awards
down.
themselves aren't going to go anywhere.
Well,
But they're probably going to change how they're presented.
so there's another thing that's happening in the video game industry that's very interesting to me, and it's basically like the Academy Awards, kind of, basically E3.
Yeah.
So
I
bigger.
guess there's some
Bigger,
similarities.
well, the reason I want to talk about this because I don't know if you saw. I think it was today or yesterday. Jeff
Mhm.
Keighley announced that for the first time
Yeah.
in 25 years, he's not attending E3, and he's not.
Not attending it at all?
I don't think so, and he's not doing the Coliseum. So it's
Okay.
like,
Also,
so you've got Nintendo
Nintendo.
pulling out,
yeah.
Sony pulling out, like and then now this is just like. What's gonna happen? Like E3's gonna fucking die, dude, because it's like people don't need to go together, like get in one space and see these
I
presentations.
mean, they've been saying about that for E3 for years. And
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
been
but
it
done.
is
now it's
dying.
over,
though.
dude.
Yeah,
like,
like-
I mean,
I
it's
don't-
not like a quick death. It's like a one of those really slow
I
cancer
think
ones.
it is.
Oh.
I mean, it's,
I think it is extreme just to say, oh yeah, it's gonna die because a lot of things are leaving. I
Or
think
they
it
need
can
to adapt.
evolve.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It'll probably turn
It
to
could
something-
potentially die if they don't adapt, but I have a feeling E3. It's
Well, it's like
it's one of
I
those
don't
things
know,
that's
man.
too big to just die.
I think it'll just
instantly.
turn into something like PAX. Really.
Yeah, like it can. do
yeah,
something like that.
probably.
That's
That's why they've opened it up to the public, is because.
But
yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
same thing that will
Me for
probably
all, you
happen
remember
with
that? Fuck.
the
Oh,
Academy
yeah.
Awards. It'll evolve. It'll adapt and change in how it's presented. Because clearly, what they're doing right now is not working super
Yeah.
well.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I think Xbox is the only one showing up. Microsoft. And
E3.
this is on a year that should be like, here's our new consoles, and
Yeah.
Sony's like, nah, we'll stream, fam. Like,
It's so
it's
weird,
ridiculous.
because it's like, look at Nintendo. Like people are
Yeah,
always talking about like,
Nintendo
oh, the
Direct's
Nintendo
fucking-
Direct's coming, and everyone talks about it, and they have it circled, and then everyone fucking watches
Not
it and
only
talks
that-
about it for a week.
Not only
Like-
that, but it costs them so much less
Less.
money.
Yeah,
Like so much
Way,
less money.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
what's the point of E3? You know what I mean?
E3
When you
is
can get
way too
demos
expensive.
online, you can like,
Yeah.
you can just like watch the presentation.
not a
And
lot
then
of
it's like,
point
oh,
for it.
demo out now.
okay.
They can
So,
also
like-
control everything that happens. It's not a live presentation where
Yeah.
the
And they
E3
control the
staff
entire
could
day
screw
as
something
well.
up.
Like that entire day is like pressed for themselves.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
that's it.
Yep.
Before we get to Community Death Battle, one final Oscar bit. How bad do you think Jared Leto feels? Literally every other Joker in our lifetime has got the Best Actor Oscar. And Jared Leto is just flamed as a turd. Like,
Oh,
he
Well,
sucks.
Or
Like, he
Suicide
was-
Squad.
well,
yeah.
he honestly already felt pretty bad because he filmed a lot more that was cut.
Yeah,
you recall?
yeah, that's how bad he was. Like, emphatically, from an
Oh,
acting
no.
perspective, the Joker is the best role you can get. It's the most Oscar-winning role in like
I guess that
from
makes
from
sense.
comics, absolutely by the
Yeah.
entire margin. Literally, 2 out of 3 people to play Joker in our lifetime got Best Actor awards. And then
What
Jared
about-
Leto
no,
just
what about-
what about Jack Nicholson?
in our lifetime is what I said.
Well, no, that was 80. Why am I
6?
blanking on when the
I
original
think it's
Batman came out?
86.
No, that was
Then
89.
it's
That was
technically in
89.
my lifetime.
In yours,
motherfucker.
maybe, you old piece
89,
of
right?
shit.
Hold on.
Pretty sure that was 89. He didn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he actually. I don't even know if that got nominated for anything.
Well, I don't think it would at the time. I don't think anyone was
So
like, taking it
so
seriously.
half of them
89.
Okay, still like whatever in
in
modern
recent,
history.
in recent times.
Ever dance with the devil
Yeah.
in the pale moonlight? It's
Yeah.
like- he
In-
does a great performance. I love Jack
in
Nicholson
the
as a Joker.
last
Yeah.
21 years, like or 31 years, we've been cool. Like the last 31 years, all Jokers except for Jared got the fucking Oscar.
Sure.
Well, not if you count the animated. All right, I'll stop. Like,
Well,
figure
okay,
out.
sure, but then again,
Did
we
Mark
have
Hamill ever
Mark
get a-
Hamill, who
He
well,
should have.
I'm sure he's won a shit ton of awards for voice acting on the Joker. It's like renowned as an.
Oh, I'm sure he's
excellent
gotten
character.
awards. I don't know about Academy
yeah.
Awards.
No, well, they don't
Of
really
course.
do Academy Awards for voice acting.
Yeah.
He should.
They really should.
should.
Let's
Yeah.
Start that up. Live stream.
Anyways, yeah, let's do a community death battle. Let's go there now. Let's talk about Fight Boys.
You heard him.
Fight boys.
It's actually Fight Ladies and Turtles. because it's Team
That's
Ruby
true.
versus TMNT, which was an idea.
It sure
Yeah.
was.
Well, it was pretty interesting timing with the Leo announcement coming up just a couple days after we announced this community death battle. So as always with one of these, we leave it up to you guys to let us know who you think should win and why using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. We have an answer for Team Ruby from somebody. Name's not on the list, unfortunately. It's from
Dude Blade
X.
The TMNT might have the edge in training, experience, and speed, but the gap in power and durability is massive. Team Ruby can tear apart buildings with ease and tank attacks that could decimate city blocks with little issue. Weiss has ice. Ice plus reptiles equals terminated. Tier Terminated.
The
Terminated. There, I'm trying to work it in.
if you can call that a pun, is a very large stretch, but I appreciate
It
the
is a pun
inclusion.
using text, which is pretty unique.
Terminated.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
You can only
for
do
me.
that pun in text. You can't actually say it. It's
Yes,
pretty, it's pretty
I
good.
learned that.
All right, we got an answer for the Ninja Turtles as well. Let's go bring that up.
Charles E. Winnick says Ruby does have an advantage over their aura, summons, and projectiles, but TMNT will win. They much better experience in both skill and teamwork, making them plan and outsmart Ruby. All of them are ninjas who can take on superhuman and aliens daily.
I had fixed his grammar in the rundown for you, but I assumed Ben would read that. But
It's
yeah.
okay. I've been doing it now, and it's
You had to
fine.
fit that all in 120 characters.
Yeah, you
whatever
got
it
it.
is.
You
Yeah, you
can't.
gotta
you
figure it
there's
out.
no fucking space for apostrophes on Twitter.
Okay, I think the big question for this one, because the answer for the Turtles that I kept seeing popping up that made sense the most to me was they have a much stronger bond as a family and as a team than Ruby. Ruby are still they've been together for what, 3 years now? The timeline in the series is kind of iffy. They've been a team for a couple years, whereas
So
the
they're
Turtles
like
have been
20
training all their
now?
life to be a team.
Sure.
So the teamwork with the Turtles is probably going to be
Yeah, except that they've
greater.
Team Ruby's
Yeah,
pretty much figured it out. Like that, we're past that arc. In fact, in this latest volume, they specifically showcase because they're like with the Aesop's team.
No spoilers.
I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but they're with the Aesop's team, and they kind of call out like, hey, like for example, Yang and Blake. They're like, why do you two always team up? Your powers don't really seem like they complement each other. And they're like, oh yeah, motherfucker, and they pull up this like ridiculous like in sync thing using Yang shotgun gauntlets and Blake's weapon, and like it's like. They very much clearly been like, we're past that
big
arc.
theme-
We've learned how to work together.
A big theme of the last season is the Aesops have a very specific way they're teamed up together because of their powers.
Right.
Ruby doesn't necessarily have that same connection, but they figured out how to move past that to make their teamwork work. So yes, that makes sense. Ruby's, I think, biggest advantage is the aura.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
The Turtles don't have anything like that.
100%.
Well, they have shells, but they're not really gonna do as good of a job.
Feel like Ruby's scythe is just going to go right through those shells.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Or, it's also a gun. Like, which...
Well, they are apparently bulletproof in some versions.
The
Wait,
shells are.
The shells, right?
Yes.
Well, and I mean they block bullets all the goddamn time, anyways.
And Ruby has been flipping, flopping all over the place since the very beginning. So
That's true.
they've
The
been
flipping
doing the
flopping is probably going to win
That's-
out.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's the factor.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, dealing with their semblances and their auras, man, it's going to be
Yeah.
insane.
I think they can deal with semblances because, as Winnick pointed out, they've dealt with superpower people constantly.
That's true.
They fight
in
all
like-
sorts of people that
In
have
like the 2012
crazy powers.
cartoon, they're fighting demigods and things like that, or at least people bestowed demigod powers and things like that. We'll talk a little bit about that in the death battle that's coming up. The Turtles are way cooler in terms of fighting power than some people might think. But I don't know how they'll stack up against Ruby. What are you guys voting?
I'm going to say Team Ruby, but again, that's because, we're owned by that company and I'm required to.
We're promoting Ruby season
Volume 7?
8. 7's over, so we're promoting.
Well, Volume 7 literally just ended.
Yeah.
So, like,
Oh, shit. What
also,
can we
dude, Ruby
promote?
Rewind has trained me. Like, I don't say episodes or season at all anymore. It's volume and
Volume.
chapter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep. That ingrained that into me from hosting.
What do we
that show.
promote? What are we being paid to promote?
I'm sure there's a very important piece of Ruby merchandise that you can get at store.roosterteeth.com because
Which
there's a lot
not
of it.
wearing. Shit. Well, I
That'll
guess
be good.
While you're there,
Ruby, really.
I'm
Team
gonna
Ruby.
abstain because I already know the poll results because I make the assets now. So.
Oh,
No, that's.
I feel like-
Still have your opinion.
Well, but it's better if there's 3 votes because
So we can't tie. Well,
you
no,
can't
it's not.
tie anymore.
Because if we tie, then it goes to them to decide.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Well,
mean,
it doesn't matter now.
Forget the poll.
forget the poll.
What's in your head? What's in your
What's in-
heart?
what's in-
What's in
Who
my
wins to
heart?
you.
I mean, from like a death battle aspect, I think Team Ruby would win just because like the auras and stuff are very, very. I don't see unless there's something about TMNTs I don't necessarily know. I don't see a way of breaking through that.
like turning to dragon.
On the side of like, I'm 12. The turtles are way cooler.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna vote turtles.
Actually, on the topic of the dragon thing, like if we bring literally everything the turtles
You
have
specifically
ever
said
done
last week that no
forever,
dragon.
Yeah,
they would
You said
win
no dragons.
because they have the turtles. They have like mech suits and things like that. But we did say last week
Team Ruby's
At
fought
the
a
most-
gigantic mech.
that's true.
Yeah.
And they fought giant monsters.
Right, giant monsters all the goddamn time. Plus,
Yeah.
Weiss can use her summons. Like,
They don't really have anything that could counter the summons, like just adding another member to the team essentially.
No, but
it's
I mean,
a
like,
big
the
fucking
dumb-
knight. Like,
Yeah, the knight, whatever. The stupid bee, they'd fucking take out no problem. The knight, I think the knight's still a pushover. Like, I think they got the knight handled. Like,
I mean, Weiss has been. It's just been getting a lot stronger with.
It's
it.
just the idea of adding another member to the team, and the turtles can't really do that.
Yeah.
So, all right, I guess I got to vote Ruby. It's a sweep on this couch. But let's
well,
see.
no, I said TMNT.
Oh,
To be fair,
I
they're
thought you said on the death.
cool.
Whatever.
No,
All
I
right.
said from a death battle aspect, from the just the cooler one, I voted TMNT.
So
for
from
fun
the
of it.
point of this segment, but we're gonna ignore that. And go,
All right, let's just bring up the poll. I don't know what our votes are anymore.
Hey!
Oh, shit. Okay.
69.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice job with the hearts. The team and tail of you, just like 4 turtles.
Yeah, what do you want? That's an accurate representation. That's like it might as well be the fucking Ninja Turtles.
That is what they look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Clearly.
the emoji is
If
too
they had
little
a
to see, but
fucking-
it actually has.
Yeah,
it.
if they had a green goo, I would have tagged that on the end, but like I didn't see it in there.
All right,
They gotta
so
fit that.
I'm not a fucking emoji lord. I don't know what to do. I was like, colors? What is it to you? 4 turtles. Turtle.
You fucked up the colors.
No, I didn't.
What?
You know he did on Ruby. Yang is supposed to be last.
Oh no!
Oops. That is Rube.
okay.
So close.
I was a rube.
All right.
Hey,
So for the community death battle, I wanna throw an idea out. Do we want to go with? I've seen a couple people suggesting ideas for Black Bolt in the chat. If we want to go that route, or there's also a Spider-Man suggestion that I think could be pretty good. Which one do you guys want to go? Black Bolt or Spider-Man? What are you leaning towards?
I don't know. It depends
First
on what
instinct.
you're.
Well, it depends
First
on the-
instinct.
Is
Spider-
Yeah.
what is it? Which Spider-Man?
Yeah.
It just says Peter Parker.
Nah, fuck that. Let's go
Yeah.
with Black
Okay.
Bolt then.
Then the one that I saw, I can't remember who posted, but Black Bolt versus Zebra from Toriko. That's probably the one character I've seen who might be able to stand a chance because he's got like a. That's the one where they're like powered by calories and whatnot. And so his like inner demon or something like that can destroy planets with his voice. So that's what we're going with.
Okay.
Like powered by
got-
calories, like
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, he's got to work out some issues.
Well,
Those
like, it's
internal
like-
demons.
Their superpowers are measured in calories and things like that. Like,
Okay,
it's-
so does he have like eat a whole bunch to do
Yeah, it's
stuff?
like the food.
God,
Dragon
that
Ball.
would be beautiful. Like if,
If
you were
you've
just
never
like,
seen
oh,
Toriko,
I ate
it's
a
pretty
lot. Oh,
If
sweet,
you-
burned off 10,000
If you saw
calories.
the main character Toriko, you would recognize it. It's the blue-haired
Okay.
guy with the orange suit.
Okay.
Goku? Sorry.
I mean, only recently blue-haired.
Yeah, Goku. But he
And now he's a silver boy.
And
he
he
eats
eats
a
a
lot
lot?
too. Like, yeah,
Now
it's
he
basically just
does,
Goku.
He's just,
All right.
Goku's just very
Black
old now.
Bolt versus Toriko. Let us know who you think should win using hashtag DeathBattleCast. Sorry, not Toriko versus Zebra from Toriko. Let us know using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. There will be a poll up on Friday, right?
Yes, Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. About Friday at noon.
Friday.
Just
And
follow at Death Battle on
yeah,
Twitter and you'll
at
see it.
Death Battle.
Yeah.
You can vote there, and we will talk about who should win that next time on the Death Battle Cast. If you're watching us live on Wednesday at noon Central Time, thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube later on, thank you as well.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.